Okay, so there you have it. All the logic's in there. And, if you take a look at the required code here, and actually, let me clean this up. Let's remove all of our debug code. And hopefully I don't break anything, which is quite possible. Save that. Come back over here. And let's make sure everything's working good. Okay, everything's good. Root is there. Awesome. We actually don't even need that deform. So, one last little bonus trick for you on the FK side. If I don't want to see the deform, because I think I gave that deform the FK, you can come in here and say the caret, which is the not deform joint. Anything named deform, I don't want to see in here. So now you don't even see it in here. Okay. And so now if you come back over here, everything still works. My root. And if I scale the root, that works and everything is good. Okay. So, the significant benefit here is, for folks that actually have some coding background, like myself, I just find this a lot easier to deal with. The amount of code that is required to drive something, like what you see here is actually very small. The majority of it is actually making the connections and that sort of thing. But Apex has these great functions for filtering out your nodes and things of this nature. But the main thing that I want to drive here is beyond just the efficacy of driving this via code, is the power of the tagging mechanism. You remember, I'm not finding any node by name. It's pure tags. And so what that means is that if you come up here and provide this new logic, this logic for the squash and stretch, I should probably name this actually squash and stretch logic. You can save this off either as a, you can come over here into the file. You could save it as a graph, a bgeo file, or save it as a text, check that into GitHub, whatever. And then you can import that into any Apex rig logic and it'll work. All you need to do is set up those tag whatever joints you want the squash and stretch to look at, and you're off and running, right? So that small chunk of code, right, it equates to this. That code is represented in this network, and at the end of the day is incorporated into the final Apex logic or Apex graph through this subnet node, which is the squash subnet node, right? With some glue which connects these transform objects to that. And that's it. That is really cool. Your graph is really easily, understandable. And you can jump into that squash, and that squash network, graphically looks like this. But in code, it's just this chunk of logic. So I hope that makes sense. Apex is still in beta, right? And there's so many little things that makes it blatantly clear that it is in beta. But this is going to be such a cool framework when Side Effects finishes this thing up, gets us some more documentation, and gets us some more, maybe even some tutorials to make sure we're doing things in the prescribed manner. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm really loving being able to manipulate these graphs through code, and we'll continue to push on this.